We are now joined by Mr. Paul Daniel Nahous, who is a security expert, a man who has traveled to many different countries, learning, gaining experience, and also training people in different aspects of national security. And today he's joining us to talk about national security operations taking place across Trinidad and Tobago, carried out by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and also to share his thoughts on what was said by the Minister of National Security, Stuart Young, on the inconvenience that may happen across Trinidad and Tobago based on these operations that are taking place. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. I see you have a nice new studio.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
well, TTT, you know.
But I know it feels like you put me in the hot seat this morning.
That is the hot seat. That is where
all, right.
all of the main events take place.
All right.
All right. So, Paul, I need to get your take on what is happening across Trinidad and Tobago now, from the Minister of National Security talking about the inconvenience to the public, to the Minister of National Security, the Commissioner of Police rather, updating us that 27 people have been arrested so far.
All right. So you're going to find that with any security operations, any policing operations, there will be inconvenience to the public, whether it's through a traffic stop, extra traffic stops, through police searching areas more aggressively and so on. When I say aggressively, I don't mean in terms of their manner, but in terms of the amount of police you may see in an area. They have upped the operation. So the public will be inconvenienced. And it's nothing new, and it's nothing outrageous. But I think it was very good for the Minister and the Commissioner to give the public the heads up that, look, please work with police. There will be some inconveniences because of this. Obviously, any type of security operations, there will be inconveniences to the public. Now, what's important is to mitigate that while still being able to advance your arrests and to do what you have to do.
And it is also important to understand that the Minister said that the anti-gang legislation would also be used if need be. How does that affect what is taking place now, and should members of the public be concerned in any way?
Those who are involved in criminal activity should be concerned. Those who are involved in gangs should be concerned. I don't think the general public has any concern in terms of getting into any trouble for it, unless, of course, you are supporting a gang, unless, of course, you are involved in the gang apparatus and the gang hierarchy. Then you should be worried.
But if you're a family member,
if you're a family member of gang,
somebody who is in criminal activities.
You see, the anti-gang legislation, it's new territory in a lot of ways. I think that a lot of these operations are going to be really testing that legislation. I can't say for sure, but that's what I observed from it, and based on what the Minister said and what the Commissioner followed up on. But a family member of a gang, I don't think you have to be worried about that. I think the person who has to be worried is the actual gang member, because the police have the intelligence as well, and they'll be able to pinpoint who is involved. And to a large extent, I wouldn't say they know who's involved, but they have an idea who's involved. They have their people they're pinpointing. The difficulty is that intelligence isn't necessarily evidence.
Yes, and that is where I wanted to go with this, because yesterday the Commissioner did say that intelligence isn't evidence. What is it? What is the difference? All
right, well, look at it this way. In Trinidad, you will say, well, we know what's going on here, we know what's going on there. You know this person this, you know this person that. You might know they're in it. They'll be monitoring. There are certain behaviors. But you can't go to court and say, well, these people in the area say that he's involved in this, and they know that. Okay, if they're involved in drugs, where are the drugs? Where's the gun? Where is the actual physical evidence to them being involved in a crime? That is sometimes difficult because, for example, you can see somebody with a gun in an area, report to the police, and the police have now intel that this person is running around an area with a firearm on them, an illegal firearm. You go and you arrest the person. You don't find the firearm, you know what's happened? You don't have the evidence. And it's become a tactic of gang members to hand off firearms as well. They even use children in it to hand off firearms to run and hide somewhere in case the child is caught with it, they're a minor. So it's a cat and mouse game with the police and the bandits, where you have the intelligence but it doesn't always produce evidence.
So, but do you think that by the Commissioner of Police and the National Security Minister giving so much information to the public in terms of, yes, we raised the alert level, this is what's going to happen, you're going to see us more, it gives a heads up to those who may be involved in criminal activities?
Given the style of the Commissioner of Police right now and what the Minister of National Security is doing and the timing that they're moving in sync with, I don't think well, first of all, they didn't drop all their plans. They gave a lot of what ex-ministers and ex-commissioners have said. But this time they have acted on it immediately. As the press conference finished, it's practically as the press conference finished, you heard about the Commissioner going out with his teams and so. And I don't think they would have given away anything that they were not prepared to act on. I believe that whatever information they said, it's because it was too late for those people that they have pinpointed as being involved in the activity. and they have already had their plans. And as I said, anything to that extent, they wouldn't have given away, and they wouldn't have shown their hand unless they knew they had Trump.
Oh, and you think that is what they have,
I
based on what has happened so far, about 27 people being arrested.
Correct.
And one thing that is of importance, I think, is the focus is more in the Laventille, Beetham areas. But if people look at that, those who are involved in criminal activities can go into other areas, because the commissioner did say that the main focus will be in this area, but they would also have police elsewhere, but it may not be as strong as in Beetham and Laventille.
No, it's good for you to mention that, because a lot of people believe that's what happened with the last state of emergency we had in the country, where they moved to different areas. And so, as I said, I can't really speak for what's going on internally, but I believe that going into these areas and understanding that, and the commissioner has been very, very, very proactive in terms of this intelligence-led policing policy. I believe that they would have accounted for that. That they would have been. I think that really that when they launch these operations, they were monitoring to the extent that if they tried to move, they would be able to catch them. So I think they had things in place before they announced this. And I mean, everything they have done past this being announced has shown that they had everything in place before. Because some of the persons that they arrested and so were people you would have expected, okay, as soon as this was announced, they would have gone into hiding, they would have gotten away, they would have taken their measures to escape this, and they haven't.
But what about the timing of this set of event taking place across Trinidad and Tobago, given that we're in the carnival season?
Well, the carnival season makes everything choppy. It does. It breaks up work. It is always an increase in crime during carnival as well. Usually increase. January month is always high for homicide. The homicide right now, though, it has been reduced by, I think, 18 to 22%. Yeah. And that's a significant figure. It's not to say there were 1 or 2 homicides reduced and that could have just been random. This is a good chunk taken out of it, and hopefully we'll see more reduced, well, a further reduction with this. Now, the timing in terms of carnival coming up. Carnival is always a time where people will be very vulnerable, and I think it could have been cracked on any time, but it's a good time to start cracking on this to mitigate the dangers for carnival and even past carnival, because they're not just holding them now and everything is going to be normal after carnival. They're not holding them until after carnival. Right now, this is important to take people in for interviewing and questioning to gather more intel. The more intel they have, the more potential evidence they can gather. Now, intel gathering, as I said, evidence gathering, 2 different things, and that remains a challenge.
And do you think it's going to work overall, these operations, and how long can it be sustained?
Well, knowing the commissioner, he'll do it as long as he has to. But once it goes into phases, as in you have these phases where you go through these arrests, you gather that intel, you try to gather that evidence. I believe he had engaged last time, him and the minister and chief of defense staff went to England. They came back talking about bringing down people from England to help with prosecution and so on. And I think that they have their phases in place. And I think it's best just to let it play out right now. But for now, the country is starting to feel a little safer. We still do have a bad gang problem in the country.
Yeah.
But luckily, we have now a commissioner who is not afraid of the gangs, speaking very plain and real about the situation. When he called them punks and he advised the...
crush the cockroaches.
And he advised the younger gang members, if you want to put it that way, not to be arrested and not to be involved in this for these people who are just sitting down giving you orders and collecting all the profit fit. That look what's happening to them now. They're being arrested, and I think that with the Minister of National Security working in sync with the Commissioner, it could only produce results from here, given what I've seen that has happened so far.
So some good information there, and thank you very much, Paul Daniel Nahous, for coming in and sharing your expertise on what is happening across Trinidad and Tobago as it relates to national security operations. Carrie, some good information, and now we are able to understand what is happening a bit more. And hopefully, as Paul said, hopefully we can get a reduction because people want to feel safer.
Yeah, and as he said, there has been a reduction of 18 to 22% in murders at this time of year.
Yeah, so that is some good news, but the Commissioner did stress that, one murder is too many.
Right.
And, the aim is to completely get rid of that.
It's quite a challenge and quite a road ahead for that, but I see a lot of steps being taken. And, having this knowledge shared by Paul Daniel Nahous, it clears up some things for us, the public, as well.